Hey everybody, welcome to Asian Ultimate Life, the podcast. This is podcast number 3, and as always, I am your host, Jared Connors from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. This week, we're recapping 3 tournaments that happened over the last weekend. BARA Single Gender, Mekong Cup, and Turn Up Taiwan. And so we're going to be talking to Yasmin from Brunei, Piet from Bangkok, and Austin from Taipei. Enjoy the show! Hey y'all, before we get started, just want to tell you that including YouTube viewings and downloads, about 1,000 people have already seen this podcast. So it's a great opportunity to get your company out there and to help me pay for my internet. So with sponsorship deals starting at only $10 a week, you should probably give it a go. Alright, give me a shout if you're interested, and you should be interested. Okay, let's start her up. And hey, to start off, I am here with Yasmin Patra from Brunei. If you don't yet know lovely Yasmin, she runs Brunei Ultimate down there. Even though she's not doing that much running these days, hopefully she'll be back out there soon. She's taking care of some other physical business. Hey, how you doing?
Hey Jared, I'm good.
This last weekend, there were a number of tournaments. The one that people probably know the least about is the tournament you guys had in Brunei. What happened down in Brunei this last weekend?
We have the BARA Ultimate Single Gender. It's the second one we've had. We had one last year. It's basically single gender, obviously, so we have teams of guys and teams of girls playing on the same day at the same fields. We had about 250 or 8 male teams and 6 female teams of 15 each.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you do a lot of single gender tournaments down in Brunei?
No, I have it for BARA Ultimate. We only host it once a year, but there are other mini tournaments that are single gender here, and they happen almost every 2-3 months.
Well, like I've said, I'm a big fan of Brunei Ultimate. It's a small country with a lot of tournaments, and Yasmin takes care of running a whole bunch of them. So, a whole bunch of folks playing single gender down there. How did it all go?
It went really, really well. I had a lot of help from a lot of people. Because I'm pregnant, I can't really go on the field or check anything. But the winners this year, for the guys, it was Vikings. And in second place was Troopers. And in third was Huck the Disc. And then for the females, in first place was Troopers, and in second place was the Queens, which is the Vikings female counterpart, and Have You Seen My Rose, which is my ladies team. I didn't play. The top 3 teams basically shown they were very, very good, because on the ladies side, the remaining 3 teams were quite new. So we could see a huge difference in scores. But when they went against each other, the scores weren't that high. So competitively, they're almost even. Maybe just, stamina-wise, Troopers really came out on top for the girls, because they lost, because we had a round robin first. And Troopers actually lost against Have You Seen My Rose and Queens. And during the knockouts, they came back and they won by like 2-3 points for both games. They just came back, and I think it's their stamina, because those girls are amazing.
Well, that's awesome. Do these teams train together a lot, or do they usually train mixed?
Most teams in Brunei train mixed. For the single gender, it's usually like the month or 2 before, then they finally get together and then they do something about it. But most teams here would train together mixed.
What other tournaments you got coming up down there?
I am hosting a university college level tournament in about 3 weeks. That's called BARA Uni Cup. And in December, we're hosting our biggest tournament, which is the one I'm hoping you're going to come to. But I do know it's also the weekend. Vietnam Hat is also on. Yeah, but we've got teams coming in from the US. We've got a Texan team coming in. They missed out last year because of the university didn't allow them to leave at the last minute. They had to pull out. But usually they come down every year to come.
And this, of course, is Bandar Open.
Yes, Bandar Ultimate Open.
Bandar Ultimate Open. One of these days, I'm going to get down there. Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. I know I will have you back on the podcast again, and we will talk more about Brunei Ultimate in the future.
Yes, it'd be great. Thanks, Eric.
All right. See you later. Hey, everybody. And now I am here with Peter Funnekotter, who is one of the founders of Mekong Cup and has joined us to tell us about what happened last weekend in Ho Chi Minh City. How you doing, Pete?
Yeah, good, thanks, Jared. Good to see you again this weekend.
It was an awesome time. How'd it go for you?
Yeah, it was really good. From Bangkok, we brought 2 teams this year. And decided that since it's a development tournament, it would be probably not the right thing to send an A side and a B side. So we wanted to look at a way to try and split the teams evenly. And so basically we took everyone except for 1 or 2 players who was 34 and above, and everyone who was 33 and below, and split them into 2 teams based on age. So we had some really old players on our team, which was pretty awesome. I mean, Dan Maxon, 52, still going strong. But on the young pups, as we call them, they had some great players as well and really ran hard. I think it gave them a good chance to, develop themselves on the leadership side from an opportunity they don't normally have at tournaments. So it was really good.
You mentioned that the Mekong Cup is a developmental tournament. What do you mean by that? And can you tell us a little bit about how Mekong Cup came to be?
Okay, well, it originally started it was 4 years ago, so the conversation must have happened a little bit longer than that. We were at the Malaysian Ultimate Open, and I think we had a team from Cambodia there, you were there, Chiang Mai and Bangkok, and we were sitting there going, well, why aren't we doing something like this a little bit closer to home, so that it's easier, and Chiang Mai can send 2 teams, Bangkok can send 2 teams, Cambodia can send 2 teams potentially, and get the younger players playing a bit more. The other side was to try and make it a little bit cheaper. So a lot of the tournaments, like the Bangkok Hat, for instance, free flow beer with tons of food and all these types of things, and discs, shirts. We decided to cut all that out so that the players who maybe are a little bit more financially constrained could still go and play in a tournament that was competitive, but not too competitive. So no ringer teams or any of that kind of stuff. It's gone from strength to strength. So first years we're in Bangkok. Last year you guys kindly hosted it in Cambodia, and then this year we're in Saigon at a great facility at RMIT. Honestly, given the amount of rain that those guys had last week, I don't know how the fields weren't rice paddies. It was a really, really good venue to have it.
It was. It actually amazes me how well that venue holds up. That's just one thing you couldn't help saying over and over again. After all that rain, the field was in great condition on Sunday. And on Sunday, we saw some great action. So tell us what happened.
Sunday semifinals, we saw Vudogs go up against Baymax, with Baymax coming out on top. Baymax is a young team, and they've got some good leaders, but a lot of young players. Guys, what's his name? Harry, I think, the 19-year-old.
Harry,
incredible player. So he was pulling everything down, great throws too. So Baymax dominated over Voodoo, and sadly in the other semifinal, Spartans, who are the eventual tournament winners, came out over top over us old dogs. We kept it close, but in the end, those guys had the legs and the training and the motivation to come through and pull it out. They certainly were the better team. So then we got to the final. The final was interesting, actually. It was level at 6, and then went into the half with Spartans going up by 1 over Baymax, and then they didn't look back. The second half, the Spartans scored every point except for 1, and Baymax sadly had to go home with the silver medals. But it's really impressive where these guys have come in a short period of time, and a lot of them are really young. It's great to see that we had 5 Vietnamese teams at the tournament this weekend, which is exactly what the Mekong Cup was set up for. The fact that there are 5 teams in Vietnam when you consider that 2 years ago there was 1 is a huge accomplishment for those guys. Both the Boos have done so much hard work, I think, in developing the sport in Vietnam, and deserve a huge amount of credit, not just for organizing a great tournament this weekend, but for getting young Vietnamese people playing. And I hope to continue to see it grow. And hopefully the Mekong Cup was an opportunity to help develop for a lot of those.
I don't want to shortchange the actual eventual champions, Spartans.
Spartans for the tournament. Those guys train hard. God, did they ever. They won it last year. They won it again this year. And if they come back next year, they'll be hard to beat as well. They didn't slow down at all. They had a second gear to go into. And they pulled everything down. They barely dropped a disc, and they moved the disc around the whole field. Yeah, great team. Nice guys, too. Yeah.
For those who don't know, Spartans are a spin-off of Disc Knights down in Singapore. So that's who those guys are. Some of their younger players, and they are also definitely a developmental team. Though, again, this weekend seems slightly more developed than the rest of the teams they're playing, and they played great and were deserving champions.
Absolutely.
So, are there any other standout performances you think deserve mentioning?
My standout performance always goes to a guy named Dan Axon, I think. Dan's 52. I think he might even be 53 this week. And he still can maybe not outrun all the young guys, but he can certainly outwit them. He was one of the standout players on the Old Dogs this weekend.
For me personally, I love that there was a team coming out of Hanoi. The first time Hanoi sent a team to the tournament.
Traffic
was great, led by Brendan as well as Emily and James, formerly of Korea. They'd have done a great job with those guys, and it was really nice to see them play hard, and they were B-Division champions as well. So congratulations
to
Traffic.
And I think their spirit was especially good. The other wild card of this tournament that I thought was really interesting was the Don't Disc Canada in their first ever tournament.
Tell us a little bit about these guys.
Incredibly fit Canadian teachers. Unbelievable. From the Canadian International School. They didn't win a lot of games, but they caught a lot of discs that you would not expect anyone to catch. And they pulled some incredible hucks at certain times of the game. And they're good characters. So I hope we see them again next year, too. Hopefully they stick with the sport.
And they were actually the party winners as well. I left decently late, and they were still going hard. They put on a hell of a performance. Finally, I would want to mention Tornado, a very new group from Ho Chi Minh City, who, from what I hear, play out in the street. And they actually played quite well. Couldn't pull in a victory, but it was great to see them out there. They were led by Tang, who I'm not sure if you know, but I've known him for a couple of years, and he is coming off of pretty serious knee surgery. And it was great to see him back out there, and that was a big plus for me in my weekend. So it was great to see Tang out there.
Yeah, cool. You know. The other team that I'd like to point out, as always, they always seem to win the Spirit Award, whatever tournament they're in, is the great guys from Savaitis, who, even though Saigon's not far from Vientiane as the crow flies, it's a real nightmare to get there. You've got to either fly through Phnom Penh or Siem Reap, or you've got to truck over to Udon Thani and then down to Don Mueang Airport in Bangkok and back over. It's a full day trip almost. So seeing those guys there in force with a big loud contingent, seeing Savaitis was great. And great for Justin for bringing his kids down too. That's always fun.
Yeah, big shout out to Justin Boggs and Jen Brown and those folks who, who made that happen for those guys, and a well-deserved Spirit Award. I love playing with those guys. Thanks, Pete. I'm going to move on, and got some other folks to talk to. So thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
Appreciate it. Good seeing you, and hopefully see you at the tournament soon.
It's going to happen. All right.
Cheers,
thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
And finally, I am here back with Austin, who you remember gave us a very detailed preview of what he saw happening in Turn Up Taiwan. And now let's find out if his predictions came to fruition. Hey, Austin, how'd the weekend go?
Hey, Jared, it was great. It was everything we hoped and more, I think. And I hope that was true for the teams going. We really made an effort to listen to everyone's feedback last year and improve on the things that they thought we should improve on. The fields, we made our priority right off the bat. So I think that went well. It would have been nice if it rained a little bit more before the tournament, but I think they were flat. They were regulation size, and we were able to get some great games on them, and we also, I think, improved on the party. The venue was great. Had a view of Taichung, and I guess it was kind of everything that we hoped it would be when we talked about it in our very detailed preview last time. So I think overall better than last year.
Hey, the first question that comes to mind, which I didn't tell you about earlier, what happened in the arm?
Oh, yeah. I was just itching my ear. I wasn't trying to call attention to it. But I broke my hand in the first point of the first game against Fast Count. I was just, I didn't know. It just felt like a jammed, kind of like a jammed couple of fingers. But it got pretty big, and I just played lefty the whole weekend. Luckily, I've been practicing my lefty backhand since college, so it finally paid off. But that was fun.
We can pretty much say that a lot of Wisby's success this weekend was due to the fact that you were playing lefty.
I think so. Yeah, I wasn't able to turn it over nearly as much as I usually do. The decisions were a lot calmer, and I was just a cutter, and I just dumped it pretty much most of the time. And I think overall it helps more. Maybe I'll play lefty from now on.
Okay. So what happened? Give us some results.
Okay. So coming into the weekend, we were looking at LGW. Niku Tomoko, which was the Japanese team, MIT, Wisby Nation, and I think Sid Vicious is kind of the favorites, the most likely to be in the semis and finals, maybe Hua as well. A lot of crazy stuff happened on the first day. Arctic Stars went 4-0. Arctic Stars is a team from Taichung, kind of the smaller roster, but I wouldn't say the B team of MIT, but because they certainly have just as skilled players, but they definitely have a much shorter rotation than them. So it was pretty surprising to see them go all the way to the semis, and they got to play MIT, their crosstown rival, and I think what was a pretty heated game actually. But so they surprised. We were sad to see LGW. They had a tough schedule. I think on the second day they had to play Sid Vicious, which was the hardest quarterfinal I think there was. So I think if LGW had gone 4-0. It might have been in the semis or maybe even the finals. But Sid Vicious was the big surprise, I guess. We knew they were going to be pretty solid, but they came out with a lot of fire. Derek Ramsey was there, Will Steedman, and Tim Martin from Wisby Nation played with them. And but they had very good Filipino players as well. We got to play them in a very enjoyable, very physical tight semifinal. We played MIT in the final, and MIT beat us actually in Taichung a few months ago on the same field, but we beat them pretty handily in the final, 15-7, I think, 15-8 maybe. So I think we made it. Both teams made it exciting. MIT didn't just give up. It was still a really exciting game. There were some fun plays. Ewan was the MVP. I don't think there was any doubt from the first play of the game when she laid out for an an errant throw that she was going to be the MVP of that game.
I think that was in your predictions, actually, somewhere in your predictions that she was going to end up as the MVP anyway. So
yeah, she plays with more heart than anyone I mean, she's just awesome. She had a sweet inside flick break huck that was great. She and Kat matched up and they're best friends, so that was really fun to watch. And on the guy side, MIT has a ton of skill. They've got Bobo, who's played with Buzz Bullets, and he played really great. But we had I think the same numbers, so it wasn't really a depth issue for them. I think it was just Wisby takes pride in our pressure defense, and I think that just kind of got to them after a few points. Just having to fight through physicality a lot and to get open. So it was a great game.
Outside of the semis and the finals, anyone else who put on a good show?
I think Nico Tomoko played really well on the first day. I mean, they had an unfortunate upset on Universe Point on the second day in the pre-quarters. They lost their crossover on the first day to Sid Vicious, so they had the hardest crossover. And then they had a tough loss in the pre-quarters. They played Chucky's in the pre-quarters.
Oh, Chucky's in pre-quarters. Okay.
Yeah, the Pool A was kind of the pool of death. It had MIT, Sid Vicious, and Chucky's all in it. And then Assassin, who also was a big surprise in the B pool, they won the B pool finals. They lost. Obviously they had the hardest pool, so they didn't quite make the A pool bracket, but they beat Convicts, I think, in the B pool championship. So they were the other host team. Awe is the owner of Ulti-Rotate, and he helps Chad out a little bit with hosting this. So it was cool to see them pull that out. I think it's good for their program. They're really young, but a lot of energy, and it's cool to see them win that. Other surprises, I think How Cool wasn't really a surprise, especially after last year, but they made it to the quarters. They beat Hua in their pre-quarter.
That's a good win.
I think that was kind of a surprise. Yeah, it was great for How Cool to get a quality win from them, and I think they ended up playing. Sorry, I should have the schedule in front of me, but I think they played MIT in the quarters and lost to the eventual finalists. Kaohsiung played really well, I thought. They've got pretty much all new players on their team, but they partied well and they played well. They put up 4 against us, and they looked really solid. It's clear they've come a long way. So that was cool to see, seeing Ultimate growing in the south of Taiwan, thanks to Forrest Waters and Rob Hawkins.
My boy Rob, yep. We miss him in Phnom Penh. He was here for a number of years. So.
Oh, okay.
Definite good dude.
Yeah.
Austin, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and to everyone here and tell us what happened at Turn Up Taiwan 2015. And thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for everything you do, Jared.
Talk to you later, buddy.
All right, see ya.
So that brings to an end podcast number 3 for Asian Ultimate Life. Hey, a reminder, if you are interested in sponsoring this podcast, it is a great way to gain visibility for your company or product. If you're interested, give me a shout at jaredconnors@gmail.com. And so next week we'll be talking to Heng and Vuta from Cambodia. So tune in for that. Until next week, I'm Jared Connors, and see ya.